I'm Susie Hassan, and they call me the Gadget Queen. And that's because when you're in my kitchen, there isn't a gadget that I don't have to use, because I love making my life easy and I love making my recipes chef and restaurant quality, and that's what I'm going to show you here today. So on our episode, we are going to show you some great ideas, and first we're going to start with omelets. We're going to go from a rolled omelet on a stick. If you can believe that, this omelet's gonna look like a cigar, okay? Then we're gonna make the perfect pasta sauce in a robotic stir. Yeah, guys, we're heading to the Jetsons, so come along with me as we have a little bit of fun with a lot of kitchen hacks in my fun gadget kitchen. Okay, so one of my favorite things I love to use is the rollie, and this is all about getting an omelet on a stick, if you can believe it or not. It's like going to one of those crazy carnivals and getting everything on a stick. Now you can get an omelet on a stick. I know it sounds crazy, but this is a vertical grill. So not only can you do omelets though, but that's what I'm about to show you, but you can do pizza rolls in here, you can do dessert, banana Nutella, you can do a ton of things in here, but we're gonna start with breakfast, because when it comes to eggs, everybody's got a preference. The first thing is, girl, you're gonna have to get your spray out. Okay, I want you to think 1980s Aquanet. That's how much cooking spray we're talking about, okay? You wanna really, very generously spray that bad boy in here, okay? Get it good, because we don't want our eggs sticking in the rollie. I'm gonna even just do, okay, just a little extra, kind of like a salt over your shoulder, a little spray. Not gonna hurt anything, all right? So we're gonna go ahead, crack these eggs open. So I'm just gonna pop in my 2 eggs. So we're gonna go like this. Whoop, 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 okay. Now I'm gonna use, it comes with a little tamper, okay? So I'm gonna use my little tamper just to keep the sides nice. I like when it comes out to come out nice, believe it or not. It's going to cook and it will rise on its own. I won't have to do anything. Now, in the manual, it says if you want to, you can pop a skewer in there. So I'm gonna pop a skewer in here. Okay, so right now we can actually see it already sizzling and bubbling. It's starting to smell like a Sunday morning. Now here's the thing, when you're making omelets, typically you can't just walk away from an omelet, okay? If you're making an omelet, you have to stand over the stove the whole time. I mean, think about it. If I were making any eggs, whether it's just 2 scrambled eggs or anything, I'd be over here, okay? I wouldn't be out changing my clothes or getting my baby, which I just had a baby 7 months ago. I can't make eggs and have my baby running around. I'd have to be at the stove the entire time, okay? Then I would have to take my pan and wash it every single time. I mean, that's just not a convenient morning, okay? Am I right? I'm right, all right? So we can already tell that it's just about done. So I'm just gonna kind of move my skewer. You can see it's still moving just a touch, but it's getting stiffer. So that means we know it's starting to get done. Now remember, you can have the skewer in there or not. It's really up to you. If you don't want the skewer in there, you definitely need your tongs ready to go, okay? Because when this thing comes out, because it's in a cylinder shape, you need something to grab it. And I really don't recommend grabbing it with your hands. It's still gonna be hot. It's eggs, guys, okay? We're still cooking something. But you're gonna want something to actually be able to catch it. Now, what the tamper is also good for is that if it does start to bubble out, you use the tamper to push the thing back down, whether it's eggs or if you're making something else, you just use it to push it back down because we want to make sure that everything gets cooked inside the rollie properly. All right, here we go. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to miss it when it comes up. Okay, I get so excited about it because it is the coolest thing. Now, if for some reason the roly egg doesn't pop up or whatever you're making doesn't pop up, it's not a big deal. All you have to do is take the machine and just turn it over. That's it. Oh my gosh, I mean, talk about getting everyone excited for breakfast again. I mean, have you ever seen this? I'm gonna just grab it because I don't want it to fall over. Oh my gosh, and look at how perfectly cooked this is. You take this anywhere, you can take it on the go, you can pack it in your lunch and just put it down. Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys, in just a few minutes, I made the perfect omelet. I didn't do anything but crack 2 eggs in the roly. If this isn't an easy breakfast, I really don't know what is. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, I have my little bed sponge right here, which I do love because not only does he take a nice little nap, which we all could use during the day, but by having your sponge elevated, it actually helps to dry it. Oh my God, take a look at this really cool omelet. I didn't have to do anything at all. I just popped 2 eggs in the roly and that was it. It's totally done. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut into this just so you can see how beautiful my eggs turned out. All right, I'm gonna cut it on a little slant because I just wanna be fancy. All right, so I'm gonna just cut right into this. And look at that, perfectly cooked eggs. All right, but let's be honest, okay? When you're talking about omelets, we want cheese, we want peppers, we want onions, we want a little love in our omelet, okay? So that's what we're gonna do right now. Now, again, first thing we do with anything you make, get out that cooking spray, all right? When you make an omelet in our roly, you actually need to scramble the egg here. And with this, you're only doing 1 egg. I know we're all used to doing 2 eggs. But with the roly, it's really specific because remember, it's a vertical grill, so it can only fit so much. And when you're adding the cheese and everything else, it actually expands. So don't think 1 egg is not enough. Trust me, 1 egg is enough. Now, I have my tortilla shells out here, and I want to show you. When you get them in the pack though, you know how some are bigger than others? Try to pick out the biggest one. Now, I am using my little bicycle slicer. Not only is this thing the cutest thing, but it actually does serve a purpose because as you're slicing, it does a double slice. So that means if you're doing a pizza or I'm doing my tortilla shell, I'm gonna get a 2 sliced edge into that shell or that pizza to make sure that I get a nice crisp slice, okay? You can see as I'm coming through, just take about 2 inches off and then my slicer, giving my double slice, perfect edge. So now I can just roll it up. All right, now before I roll it up though, I wanna get my omelet going. Okay, so I got my 1 egg here, I got my cheese, and I got my peppers. Now, here's the thing, guys. Don't overdo it, okay? Cannot stress that enough. A little mix here. And then I'm gonna pop this in the roly too. All right, so let me go ahead, roll this up. Okay, pop this little guy in here. Now, as I pop him in here, I'm gonna use my skewer to help spread him out. Okay, so you want him down in there. He's a little hard to see and it's very low. The reason why they want you to use the smaller shell is so that way the full omelet can be cooked. So the omelet pops up just like the other egg. Okay, so we're gonna put this in there. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna use my little skewer just to kind of clean up those edges because when it pops up, I want it to be a nice, clean omelet. All right, so I'm just gonna pop it in the center. And then for the omelet, you're gonna add another minute or 2. I'm gonna go ahead and get my plate ready for this. If we wanted to, we could add some sausage in there. It's gotta be pre-cooked though. You can add bacon in there. So you can do like a pancake batter, and on the skewer, you could add your sausage and then pop that in there. Here we go, this is the big show. All right, it's coming out. Oh, here it goes. Oh my God, look at that perfect omelet. You guys, this is your breakfast sandwich. So I just flipped it over, but you can see it is done, but I just want to add a little crisp to the end just to show you a little bit more about what this rollie can do. So we're just hearing it kind of sizzle in the end. Now, it's not going to pop up again once it's already popped up. So I'm going to show you the second way to actually take out stuff from the rollie. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this in. And pop this omelet right out. Whoop. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A perfect omelet on the go. All right, you can see my cheese is ooey gooey. I got my peppers in there. I got my onions in there. Got my melted cheese happening. All right, so both of my omelets are done and I am hungry. So I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna go wash up. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have 2 beautiful omelets for breakfast. Okay, so breakfast is done. Now take a look at how beautiful our breakfast has become. And it only took us a few minutes. These breakfasts look like they took all morning, but they didn't. They were fast, they were quick, they were easy, and they're ready to go. These are these really fun pull string salt and pepper. So here's what you do. You pull the end, and that's how the salt shaker shakes. You can tell yourself, okay, I can only have 1 shaky, okay, and then that's it. We have to do the pepper too because we don't want pepper to get jealous, but the same thing here. We're just gonna go ahead, get a little pepper on there, and then we are good to go. Take a look at this little guy. It's a King Egg Arthur, okay? You pop your soft-boiled egg in the Egg Arthur, okay? You have your little spoon soldier, and then you're able to crack the top of a soft-boiled egg and eat it that way. I found this little Eggland floaty for your egg, and this is actually gonna help us make the perfect poached egg. Now, while we wait for our water to boil, I wanna show you this little guy right here. He's a little gorilla, and when you're making poached eggs, usually you have to keep the lid on tight as you're making it. I like to keep my lid just a little ajar because I like to kind of check on it a little bit. So this little guy sits right on the end of your pot. Okay, so I got my water boiling, but remember, this is a rolling boil, all right? So we wanna dial it back. So now you can see my little egg is just floating in there, nice and easy. And we're gonna say good night to Vacation Egg for just a moment. I'm gonna use my little egg timer. It's about 5 to 6 minutes for a poached egg. Oh, look at that! Perfectly poached egg as a little handle, and the palm tree just comes right up. All right, now if you think this is looking good, now wait till I put this together. Okay, so I'm gonna go and grab my avocado toast. I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt, but I don't wanna ruin it. I'm not even gonna put any pepper on there, and I even like pepper on my eggs. I'm just gonna put a little salt on there. Gonna get my little shaky going. Little salt on my egg. And now that is a perfect breakfast if I have ever seen one. Next up, I am gonna tackle pasta sauce. Don't worry, I got some robotic helpers for that coming right up. Okay, so now this gadget is really something else. All right, I feel like I'm gonna step into the future, okay? Because this is the stir, shaken, not stirred, not true, it's called the stir. Okay, it's the stir with 2 R's at the end, and what this does, it's an automatic stir. Okay, it's an automatic, I guess, spoon is what you'd call it. It has 3 settings, and when you turn it on, watch this. It turns both clockwise and counterclockwise. So this is great because when you do have it in a sauce, you're gonna get a nice smooth consistency because as it turns, it's turning clockwise and counterclockwise. So you see that rotation? So that way you're actually incorporating all your ingredients so perfectly as they blend together. Now I'm gonna just stop this for 1 second. It does have 3 settings. Whoops, it has mind of its own. All right. But you can see the little legs are all different, and that's actually to help continue to incorporate all your ingredients. So you can see they're not the same on the bottom. They have little angled feet, and that helps actually bring up the liquid from the bottom of the pot. So nothing stays at the bottom of the pot to burn or anything like that. So whether it's a sauce or maybe even a risotto or maybe it's a stew where you really need something to keep stirring up, chicken noodle soup or whatever it is, you really want something that's gonna help keep it stirring and keep it going, and that's what this is gonna do. So for today, we're gonna make a fabulous pasta sauce because fresh homemade pasta sauce can seem like a daunting task, but honestly, when you have something this fun, it just makes it really, really easy. Okay, so I'm gonna pop this to the side for a second because when you talk about pasta, you can't talk about it without fresh garlic, okay? So with fresh garlic, we're gonna need to mince it. Now, I don't know about you, but every time I go to try to mince garlic into tiny little pieces, it gets caught on my fingers, it gets caught on the knife, and I'm over there like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm not this big chef. Okay, I can't mince the thing into too small of pieces. So for this, I've actually brought the garlic zoom. It's a little zoomy to help me actually mince my garlic. So it makes it super easy. All right, now what you do is you just open up. All right, now you don't want to overload it, okay? And a little bit goes a long way. So we really only need 3 garlic cloves in here, and that's gonna be plenty. Now remember, we're using it with sauce here, but think about all the other things that minced garlic is perfect for. Garlic bread, maybe bruschetta, that'd be great for that. So here we go, we're gonna go ahead and just let it zoom. And it's like a little car, so you just wanna get it going. And you can see it's just starting to mince the garlic perfectly. And I love this because there are a lot of larger gadgets that are great for mincing, but garlic is, you just don't need a big gadget. Something small and quick and easy like this is really all you need. And I didn't have to chase the garlic around the chopping board. My fingers don't smell like garlic. I'm not doing one of these things where I can't even see what I'm doing. Look at that, perfectly minced garlic. Right at my fingertips, that's all I did. All right, now I'm gonna open this little cage back up, and there it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just scoop this right onto the cutting board, and then I'm gonna take the other side, and I'm gonna scoop the rest of the garlic out. Perfectly minced garlic that took me just seconds to make. I mean, think about how difficult it would typically be to mince garlic. Honestly, it's almost impossible. Okay. So now I have beautifully minced garlic, and for this, it just needs a rinse out. It's not even a big cleanup job. So I'm just gonna rinse this out real quick. He even dries really easy. I mean, you just kind of set him like that, and then he just dries right on the kitchen countertop. So it's really easy peasy. Okay, so now I've got my garlic all minced, and I'm going to get my sauce ready. So I'm gonna add all this to my pan over here, and I'm gonna get a little bit of olive oil. I mean, everything's better with a little olive oil, so. And I really do like making a homemade sauce. This is actually a 15th century Scottish tool. This is 15th century Scottish kitchen tool. Okay, so I'm gonna add my basil. All right, I'm gonna add my parsley, my dried parsley, and I'm gonna add my little Italian seasoning. I'm gonna add my tomato paste. Sauce. All right, now I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this. And the water, is really up to you on how thick you really want your sauce. So I've got my stir here. Now, I'm just starting to incorporate all of my ingredients. So I'm gonna start this on the highest level, which is level 3. And that's really gonna get all the big chunks of tomato in there kind of moving. Now, as this is going, I'm gonna add my crushed pepper, pop that right in there. And I have a little bit more crushed tomatoes that I'm going to add here. Give it at least 20 minutes, you know, because you really want it to be that perfect pasta sauce. Okay, now let's get to the noodles. So we have two different ways that we're going to do our noodles. Pot of boiling water. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to that to remember our friend. Okay, so we have our little salt friend. I'm going to be cognizant here that the pot handles are going to be hot. So I've got my little farfalle here that you put on the end that just makes it easier to take off the hot stove. All right, so while that's going, I'm going to add in my pasta. Second way to be able to make your pasta. That's actually going to save you some time from having to use a big pot. Okay, so this is my little pasta boat. I might use this thing like a million times throughout the week because it's so convenient. Okay, so really it's mainly designed for pasta. You can add rice in there, you can steam vegetables in here too, but for me it's pasta all the way. So you just place your pasta in here. Now before you do, the handles also act like a measure for your pasta so you don't cook too many noodles. Most of us do that, where we make way more noodles than we really need to. So for this, it helps you understand the portions. And same thing, we're gonna salt our water in here as well. I mean, I really do love this little thing. Okay. So I have my pasta boat ready to go. Now this actually goes in the microwave. It's gonna be super easy, and all you do is just pop it in and then set the timer for about between 20 and 22 minutes. So it's really gonna depend on how al dente you really want your pasta. So I like to do usually 21 minutes, but my husband swears at 22. But since it's just me today, I'm gonna do 21. All right, so 21. All right, so I have that going. Pasta two ways. All right, let me check on my sauce. Okay, so my sauce is really starting to come together here. I'm gonna kick it down to level 1. Now, as I'm taking a look at my pasta is doing very well over here, and I'm really excited because I have this really fun strainer that I'm going to be straining my pasta in. And I know you're thinking, oh my God, like this is just too fun. Okay, it's just too fun. But it does have a functionality, and the functionality is really with the eyes. So this actually makes it really easy to hold up the colander when you're trying to get all of the water out. I mean, take a look, you know, when you talk about saving some kitchen space, who doesn't want something like this compared to something like this? Okay, now if you recall earlier, I was talking about the spurtle. So I'm gonna come back to the spurtle just to give it a little bit more love. Oh my God, that looks beautiful, but I'm gonna show it to you here. There's a couple different kinds of spurtles. So earlier when I was, you know, getting my onions and garlic going, I was using this little spurtle, but the traditional spurtle really looks like this. You can see how beautiful the sauce pulls in behind it, but it's not this choppy kind of drag. That stick that you usually get with a wooden spoon creates that dragging motion. So here we're getting a beautiful flat surface that helps to get a smoother stir. Now I'm gonna take my spurtle, I'm gonna put them right down, and I do have one of these guys. These are really helpful. This is my little crab buddy, and typically I'd have him on the edge of my pot. If I wanted to, if I was using my spurtle, I would just have my spurtle sitting on the edge of my pot, so that way it wouldn't sit on the countertop. Okay, so I'm gonna pop them off, and I'm gonna start to plate my pasta. All right, so I think that my pasta is done, so I'm gonna go head over to my monster strainer. And by the way, take a look at the farfalle silicone handles, okay? So it makes it easy for me to go ahead and pick up and pop it into the colander over here. All right, so we got our little monster strainer over here. And see, take a look. I have these nice long handles, so that way I can really get a nice bounce and toss as I'm straining my pasta. All right, let me grab my sauce. Okay. All right, now who doesn't love a great pasta dinner? Honestly, any night of the week is good for me. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we got our monster strainer with our beautifully cooked pasta. Now I'm gonna use my little Nessie ladle. And what I like about him is he has these little feet, so that actually helps him stay upright when you have him in a saucepan. So look. I'm gonna put a little bit, a sprinkle of Parmigiano. Now don't worry, when the cameras are off, I'm gonna dump pretty much this whole thing of Parmigiano on my pasta because that's how I eat it. But I don't wanna go too crazy in front of you guys. And then I'm gonna do a little sprig of basil just on the top. I mean, just to make it give a little presentation. Oh my guys, and by the way, this is normally a little holder for your tacos. But for today, he's holding my basil because really he could hold anything. Now remember, we also made pasta in our pasta boat. So if you don't want to fumble around with the big pot and you, even though he's cute, you don't want to use the strainer, you can just simply use the pasta boat, and the lid actually strains the water from the pasta. So I'm gonna go ahead and come over and I'm gonna just let all that water right out. Perfectly cooked pasta right in the microwave, and I didn't need all the extra gadgets. So if I want to plate this pasta and eat this pasta as well, I can do that. Okay, I can't wait. I got to get into this thing right here. Oh my, look at this. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is fresh tomatoes, fresh basil. This is a dinner that everybody will love. We all love pasta anyway, but when there's a way to actually make it faster, quicker, easier, better, and you can actually do your own sauce and make homemade sauce that's not from a jar, doing all of that just makes the dinner so much better, so much healthier, and so much better for you. All right, we went all the way from making an omelet on a stick to garlic unicycles to making fresh homemade pasta sauce with a robotic stir. Okay, that stir is from the future. If you can think of it, I have a gadget for it. So thank you so much for joining me. And next week, it gets even crazier because take a look at these weird whisks I'm gonna show you, okay? What is this all about and why does it need to be so big? And how about this? It's like the cousin to the flux capacitor. I can't wait to show you what this thing does, and then you'll start to see why they call me the Gadget Queen. I'll see you next time.